What's going on, YouTube? Back with another video. Today we finally got some 26 news. They're doing the little roadmap to 2K26. So in that essence, I just want to basically, I'm watching the live stream basically, and I'm just going to trim everything up, recap everything, just so you guys can get the most important information, because it's probably going to be a whole lot of minuscule stuff and a lot of stuff that we don't really need to dive too into. So just so you guys don't have to watch a whole hour-long stream, give this video to you guys. And then yeah, that's pretty much that, won't lie, but you know, always like to spread the word in the intros too. Let's see, where are we gonna go to? You know, I got one that I want to do. It's on my phone. Let me open up my phone. Hold on, time out real quick. Hold on. Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 1 through 3 says, "The voice said to me, Son of man, eat what I'm giving you. Eat this scroll, then go and give its message to the people of Israel." So I opened my mouth, and he fed me the scroll. "Fill your stomach with this," he said, and when I ate it, it tasted as sweet as honey in my mouth. So that was Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 1 through 3. I found that like low-key interesting when I was rereading that, because it was like, it's literally eating the word of God. So you know, they say that the word is the daily bread, pretty much. Get your daily bread in and all that type of stuff. And Ezekiel was like, "Oh, we're gonna eat this stuff." Oh, they're getting into it already. When you eat this stuff, it's gonna taste like, you don't know how it's gonna taste, but Ezekiel said it tasted as sweet as honey, meaning it was good for him, and it tasted good, meaning that it's literally for us and it is made for us. It's not gonna be bad for you. It's not gonna taste bad once you get into it. It may look off to you, but once you get into it, it's the most beneficial thing that you can get. So there's that. And let's get into the video, because they're already starting stuff off. So let's see what they're talking about now.
Shot outcome, blocks, steals, loose balls, rebounds, and more across just how gameplay feels this year. Now, Stacks, I know we can't leave the community here with a broad theme and no details, so there are a couple things that we can say today, so listen closely. The first one, higher difficulties are going to play with green or miss jump shot timing. Now, when we say higher difficulties, that includes most competitive multiplayer modes that many of you all play. So in those modes, you're not going to see early or late releases going in on those difficulties, which I think is a very welcome news to many of you. Second thing, the shot meters and the dunk meters are both going to show you your green windows in 2K26. That was a point of feedback that came up a lot, and even as the year went on, I kept seeing that many weren't getting used to the new 2K25 shot meters, especially slashers. I gave that feedback a lot. So in 2K26, the meters are going to have the green windows again. One more thing here, layup timing is going to be permanently enabled in multiplayer mode. That means you're not going to be seeing real player percentage layups go over you anymore.
Back to layup
time. That's just tapping a button. All the layups need to be timed in those modes. But those of you who are newer to the game, we do want to clarify that
skill-based gameplay.
You shouldn't think that you aren't going to be able to make a layup anymore, because this is not meant to make it really hard for you to make your open layups, but rather to separate the really good finishers from the weaker ones, and definitely to make sure that there's more skill involved. So those are the three things that we have to share for gameplay for now: green or miss shot timing, green windows on the shot meter and dunk meter, and layup timing being enabled. So
everything there is pretty self-explanatory. All that stuff is pretty good. It seems they're going back to more skill-based stuff.
And there is a lot more that we will be sharing later when we do our full gameplay breakdown. For now,
but that's coming to you July 28th on gameplay.
Yeah, and those all
so that's
sound
like 2
like things
weeks.
that, you know, throughout the year the community was talking about, and changes that they wanted to see be made. So it's good that we're finally getting those things in 2K26. With that being said, just a reminder for you guys too, the full gameplay reveal will be the week of July 28th. All right, so keep that in mind. This was just a small sneak peek.
About 2 weeks. So you know, they're dropping some small hints. You know, Mike Wang probably going to return to Twitter at some point. They're going to go back to their Twitter stuff. So we'll see what they really chat about.
Mike is not going to be answering questions today. I know you all love hearing from him, but he is a very, very busy guy right now. He and his whole team and the whole dev team are working on the game to be ready for you all. So we're going to wait until after the full reveal of these modes and gameplay to answer any questions. So Mike is not going to be answering questions today. Don't blame him. Let the man work. He is very busy right now. He and his entire team are working on finishing 2K26.
I don't need to stop trying to clown Mike Wang.
With that said, what is next, Stacks?
Yes, sir.
So most anticipated, maybe not most
anticipated, but highly anticipated. We're going to be talking a little bit about the MyCareer builder. right?
so you're
I
talking
know a
about
lot of
builder
people
stuff,
wanna hear
huh?
about that. And first,
See
we
what they
got
chatting
build
down. I'm writing down
with
notes,
new
Sean. Get my
insights.
TikTok.
Really wonder what that.
All right, let's see what they
Break
talking
it down
about.
for
Build
us.
with new insights.
All right, let's explain this a little bit. So, obviously, one of the first things many of you do in 2K is you go into the builder and you experiment, right? That is such an important part of every 2K for you. And the dev team has taken time to add more previews and more quality of life improvements to that process. So there's going to be multiple things that we can talk about later, but one example that we can share today of what that might mean is a nice little addition that you can now preview the body types that you'll be able to unlock right from inside the builder.
That's
So I've
solid.
seen many
You
people
can-
make a
yeah,
build,
that's
they
solid.
save it, then they go and check the body types. And then if it doesn't have the ones they want, they back out, tweak it a little bit, check again, and repeat. That's kind of time consuming. So
That's
you will
kind of
not
like
have
a
to do
weight
that
thing.
anymore.
So
You
I
will be able to
mean,
see the body types before you are done.
nothing
with
major
the build.
yet.
And that is just one example of some
But
of the
that's
improvements
something
for the builder
decent. But they
and
said
the
they got
quality of life
improvements.
upgrades that we're going to talk about more later in the summer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So another one that I see here, staying on the topic of the My Player Builder, is fresh
What else?
play styles year round. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Fresh play styles.
Yeah, so of all the feedback this year, it has been consistent that many people in the community love Cap Breakers, right? In case you weren't locked into 2K25, you don't know what that is. What Cap Breakers do is they allow you to improve your build even after you finish making it. So you can make the attributes even better, and then that unlocks the badges and animations, and then your build
Talking about
continues
last
to
year
stay
right now.
fresh.
Everybody know
So,
what Cat Breakers are, so I
today,
assume they
we can
return.
confirm that Cap Breakers will be back in 2K26, and there will also be other new ways to improve your builds and earn those Cap Breakers that we're going to talk about soon. The other thing that I saw a lot of positive feedback on this year was the takeover system, where you have 5 levels that heat up automatically. You don't need to activate it
So
manually.
that's coming back
and
too.
a takeover ability at level 5. That system at its core is back, but it is more in depth now. There are some new mechanics, and the progression is also
So
streamlined. So
same
unlocking
takeover
takeovers, the pure amount of takeovers and special abilities or takeover abilities, that is not going to be as intimidating anymore in 2K26. So we're going to talk about takeover and Cap Breaker soon, but for now, they are back and they are much
improvements.
improved.
So that's not bad.
Okay. Interesting.
Pretty
I'm
solid.
definitely
One more
looking
they
forward
can
to
drop.
hear more about those takeovers. But as we keep things moving, I think this right here was something, again, that the community will talk about throughout the life cycle of like any 2K game, and it's My Player Build Diversity. So yeah, well, what are we talking about there?
Please, you gotta
Yeah,
separate.
so build diversity is really important, and the dev team has been working hard to ensure that whether you have a short build, a tall build, or somewhere in between,
Make it
that there are
fun.
ways that you can be effective on the court. So when
And
we
fun.
get to the full 2K26 builder reveal, or when some
Okay,
of our
so
creators have their hands
okay.
on the builder later in the
So-
summer, you will hopefully notice some of the changes that are striving to hit that goal of build diversity. But that is it for My Player for now. There are many more details that we just can't share today. I'm excited for what's coming up though.
Yeah, man, I see this little sneak peek right here for me. Just
Okay,
as
so
someone
that's
a
coming
fan
to
of
you
the game,
August
makes me
4th.
really excited, and I definitely want to hear the rest of it. But just a reminder again for everybody in the chat.
So they're
the full
dropping
My
that stuff
Player Builder
early.
reveal
Usually they
will
wait
be
for
the
those
week
things.
of August 4th. So put
August
that on your
4th,
calendar.
week of Builder.
We're looking forward to that. Week of August 4th will be the full My Player Builder reveal. With that being said, next up is my team. So all of my team
Alright,
fans
so
lock in.
what I'm gonna do
And we starting
now
out with
is
triple.
mute this, because we're not a My Team channel, so I'm gonna mute that. So basically, most important thing, gameplay wise, it's gonna be skill based more so. So green or miss is gonna be in your more competitive modes, kind of how they had the shot meter timing. They took not shot meter timing, but the shot meter visual. You had to have your shot meter off for stage and stuff like that. So it's gonna be like that with green or miss now too. So probably rec, you're still gonna see whites. Park, you're still gonna see whites, but proving grounds and stage pro am 2 is gonna go back to green or miss. You can see the green window on your layups, your free throws and stuff like that now. Your dunks, which is shit how it's always been, and your shots too, I believe they said. And then layup timing, you're always gonna have to time your layups, no more real player percentage on those. And July 28th, that's in the week after, the following week is when we're gonna get some gameplay news and all of the more deeper dive. Mike Wayne Dwayne will make his return probably around then too. So that's when you can expect more videos from us and all that type of stuff too. And then into the builder, you can see your body types, and there's other improvements in the builder, so you don't got to make your build if you were doing it that way. Cap breakers are coming back, and it's the same takeover too with some other improvements. And then they say there's going to be build diversity. That's what they're working on, so you can use small guards, tall guards, because we know tall guards were cooked this year. You could only make really 6'4s and under, so that's what they say. There's going to be some build diversity, and that's their focus. So we'll see what they say with that. And then August 4th, that should be coming with some news. Not August 4th itself, but that week. They usually drop on like Wednesdays and Thursdays, maybe a Tuesday too here and there, but usually they like dropping on Wednesdays and Thursdays. But yeah, those obviously sound like some major massive improvements to see what we can pretty much get right for this 2K, because we really need some good stuff. So we'll see what they do, and we'll see what improvements they make in that end of the day, because 25 was not it, but like they said, it sounds like they're doing a lot of improvements to what the community was talking about, the way they're talking. So they're hearing things, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to what they truly implement, how well they implement it, and then how the community responds, because sometimes they intend for one thing to be one way, but the community just switches it up. So once the community gets their hands on the game, so we'll see, and yeah, we'll really see. But we're gonna clip all this My Team stuff, maybe talk about the MyCareer stuff, because I guess that's kind of similar, and then we'll talk about the city. We'll skip this My NBA stuff too. So yeah, all right, so a new MyCareer storyline. That's obvious.
It's fun. So this year the dev team has spent time building out a full prelude story that is called Out of Bounds. Title of it? Now, we're not going to spoil how the story goes, of course. What we can say is that there are now more consequences to the story games and your choices. So, for example, if you've got a game and your goal is to outshine your opponent, but you fail, your agent might not be able to get you the best opportunities because you didn't pass those objectives. So it makes things more interesting.
So they're just getting more kind of like real, and
I still start with MyCareer.
You know, MyCareer is not terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Multiplaer in the city and all that. So
it's just annoying when you're just trying to hoop in the park and all that. But MyCareer, it will always have potential if they make a good storyline.
Where will you go in the NBA draft? It look like the draft is back.
Well, ultimately, you want to get drafted to the NBA, right? I don't think that's a spoiler. You can say that.
So I guess you're starting in college. The draft is also an area
of my career where I've seen brought up a lot in feedback, because it seems like half the community wants to get drafted and half want to pick their team so that they can go to the Lakers, play with LeBron and Luka. Or if you're like Stacks, picking the Knicks.
Yeah, I'd rather play on mine.
But our dev team has done the best of both worlds in 2K26. So this year, you can be drafted based on your performance and how well you fit each team, or you could also bet on yourself. You can pick a team to do a private workout for and try to convince them to draft you instead. So the decision is up to you whether you want to get drafted or pick your team. And I think it's a pretty nice solution to that feedback where we saw both ends, people who wanted to get drafted and people who wanted to pick their team. Now you can do what you want.
Yeah, it's not bad. See, stuff like that where they're doing 50-50s where they're catering to literally both sides, going deep into that. So very few things, so we'll see. Was that week of August 18th?
Next up, we got My NBA, and we also have, and when I heard about this, I thought this was really cool, because I always thought about why this is
Alright, so basically a new storyline, that's obvious, is probably more streamlined and stuff like that. Let me use this real quick.
What does that mean?
New storyline is probably more streamlined, stuff like that, and then you can also either get drafted or you can pick which team you're going to. I like being able to pick because you want to always play as like a small guard when you're trying to get badges. Usually the quickest way to get your mind points is throwing lobs and stuff like that, so you always want to play with a team that has lob threats. So probably like now I would say like the Mavericks you want to go to, because they have Anthony Davis and Gafford and Lively, so you can throw those lobs. Doing stuff like that helps you get your mind points, but yeah, and help you get your badges too. So there's probably still other teams that are good too. That's just not coming off the top of my head because so many people just traded and joined different teams. But you know, for the draft, you know, it makes the story interesting too, picking your draft or going through the draft process, which is something that I like playing MyCareer sometimes. Like later down the line, once I get bored just trying to get some VC, I'll try to just hop into MyCareer and just see what the storyline's like. But off rip, it's always good to pick your team for that reason of upgrading your first player if you're somebody who just wants to hit the park as quick as possible but still not be dirt as a my player. So yeah, let's see.
Chat have been asking us to get to this. Hurry up and hurry up. Well, we are going to talk about the city a little bit. And I did want to talk about it first a little bit in general. Because in years past, we've heard the feedback about how intimidating the city was, right? We talked about
It's
this
not
before.
intimidating, it's just too damn big. People don't want to run all
around.
around.
Step to actioning on that feedback. I think I personally noticed it right away this past year, and I think much of the community did as well.
Yeah,
now,
it's just easier to
we
get
want to
around.
get you on the court faster. So this year in 2K26, without showing you the city, because we can't do that just yet, how I would describe it is it's even more intimate, it's even more accessible, and you can get wherever you want to go really quickly to further build on that big shift last year. So if you've heard the words the city come up before and you thought about that really big map,
So it sounds like a
streets,
smaller
turns
city,
everywhere,
basically.
that is not how the city is now, and I think you're going to really like the one in 2K26. But what sneak peeks do we have for the community stacks? Because there's a very cool one here.
Yeah, so first up, it says there's even more ways to flex and show off in the city. Tell us what that means, Evan.
Right.
Really don't care.
Right.
Let's
so
see.
all of you
If
in the
they're talking about
community
some new
love
emotes
to
or
flex.
freaking.
When we get into August, something you can expect to hear about are multiple new ways of how we're putting a spotlight on players. And one that we thought we would be cool to talk about today, as an example, it's not too big of a spoiler,
Rank.
is our new mode leaderboards. So
Yeah, something
these
like
rank
that, yeah.
players by the most wins in places like the theater and the rec.
Okay, see,
The cool
that's
thing
tough.
is the top player
something
each
small.
day is going to have a big 12-foot statue of their My Player built outside of that mode's building. So if you are the #1 player that day, whenever somebody walks in, you are going to be looking down on them, kind of intimidating them. So that is just one example. We can't talk about the other new additions here just yet, but you will hear more very soon later in the summer.
Okay.
There's one more very cool thing though,
Let's
Stacks,
see.
that
I like
I've been waiting
that.
to tell
That's
you
what I
about.
was calling
What is it?
for. So like how
Yeah,
Proving
yeah,
Grounds
so
has a
this
little
one right
rank and
here,
you see your purple plate, stuff,
In
more
terms of
stuff like
people
that.
that play in the
But
park and
let's see.
stuff like that, this is probably the #1 thing. And I noticed like a theme throughout this thing is a lot of community feedback. But it says right here, the park gets a makeover. Evan, we need to know what's going on with
straight basketball, please. Just straight
All right,
courts.
so we're gonna end on
Rucker
one
Park,
that I
stuff
think
like that.
many of you will be really, really happy to hear, because the park is getting a lot of love in 2K26, and we want to call out now that the new designs are focused on more natural and more grounded environments.
Thank
The
you.
feedback about what direction many of you want to see the park
Thank you.
environments go in, that has been heard. So this year you can expect to see designs like ones that are more similar to courts that maybe you might see in the real world. Maybe in your cities or
Okay, good.
neighborhoods, you might see courts like these.
Hopefully natural
And one
or
more
not
thing
natural
here
lighting.
on visuals
Take out
is
natural
that there are
lighting.
also new lighting improvements
Thank
and a
you.
fixed time of day. And the benefit of that is that it should reduce the amount of harsh shade and harsh sunlight that you may have noticed in the past when
Thank
you were
you.
playing.
See, this
Both of
is
those
good.
things, I
This
am
is
sure
good.
are very welcome news.
We're not gonna get
Seeing
too
those
hyped
brought
though.
up,
That's what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna get too
I hope
hyped. But
the
this is all
community is happy
great
with them.
stuff.
I see a lot of W's in the chat.
All that
is
stuff in
something
the
that
city
we've
that
been
they
waiting
just
to
named, they
say
just went 3
for a
for
while,
3
that
for
the
that.
scenery in the
Builder.
parks is going to
It's
be more
not
natural
crazy
and
yet, but
grounded,
those
and
are
the
all
lighting
good stuff. I won't
improvements
lie.
should make
Those
the
are
harsh
all
shade and the harsh
really
sunlight
good stuff.
a little bit more accessible
That was
for you
definitely
all,
needed. So the
less of a
park is going to
bother
get
when you are
more
playing.
players back on the
Stacks,
park because it
that
actually
is gonna do
seems
it
like it's
for our
going to be
sneak peek. I
playable
think the community
and
got some
more
nice little information
and
here.
more
What do you
just
think?
visual appealing.
Yeah,
That's
for
perfect.
sure. And just keep in mind, guys, all of what we spoke about, what Evan spoke about today, is just a sneak
And
peek.
yeah,
right?
the
We're
fact
gonna
that they're
get
saying that right
deeper
there is
into
only
all
a
of
sneak
these things
peek.
and the dates that we mentioned.
It sounds like we
And
might
as far as the
be
park
really
goes, or the
cooking. That's
city
what it
goes,
sounds
the
like. I
full
ain't gonna
reveal will
lie.
be the week of August
So we'll
25th.
see.
So keep that in mind. More news to come.
We'll see,
during that
man.
thing. But I feel like we got a lot of interesting things here. A lot of
I know
great
they probably
news
gonna
here.
drop
We
a
talked
gem
little
right
bit
when I
about
log
gameplay,
off of this, so I don't want to just
MyCareer,
jump
the
off.
city,
But
my NBA. We talked about a lot of things here, and
let's
I
see.
really love the fact that a lot of this stuff was community feedback focused. So, shout out to the community for always submitting that feedback and letting these guys know exactly what you want. And shout out to 2K as well for actually taking the time and implementing some of the stuff in the game too. That was cool.
Exactly. Shout out to our dev team who's been working on that.
Yeah, it sounds like they
All these
definitely
features
cooked
and
us some
many more
stuff
that
up.
we are gonna
I
talk
like
about
it. You know what
very
I'm
soon.
saying?
In
So
case you missed any of this, the VOD will be up, so you can rewatch, or you can also read the full Courtside Report blog that is going to be live very soon, if not already, on the NBA 2K website, and that
I
also
low-key need that
covers
for to make
what
this
we just
TikTok.
talked about. In case
It's
you came in
short.
late, didn't see some of it because we did start a little bit earlier than expected today. So in
They
case you
did,
missed any of it, it is
That's
all
why I
on
was
the
still
blog.
doing my intro. It was
Go
like
and look
freaking
and catch
10:40.
up.
I was still
Now,
doing my
we're
intro.
going to see you back here for NBA 2K26 gameplay on the week of July 28th. And that is in about 2 weeks. And that's going to kick off a marathon of reveals leading up to early access.
That's kind of
on
tough. I like how they
August
push it back.
29th.
It's more compressed
You can
now,
put up
especially with the
the
game coming
roadmap
out
here.
earlier.
This is a very beautiful graphic our team's been working on. There's some Easter eggs here as well. But those little tape cassettes there next to the TV, that has got all the dates you can expect to see. Gameplay,
Okay, right
presentation, MyCareer, MyNBA, a couple things we didn't even talk
Park,
about
early
are there in
access,
those
out of
tape cassettes. Go
bounds,
take a look, and we are
cover.
going to see you
This
very
looks like
soon.
some My Team
That is all I got, Stacks.
cards. I suck
Sure,
at finding
see y'all in
Easter
the next
eggs.
one. Like you said,
I ain't have enough
gameplay
time.
coming the week of
But
July
yeah, so that's
28th.
pretty much all the
We'll be back
information.
there to talk
Hopefully,
about gameplay a
our
little bit
editor,
more in depth.
Mr. CNoteGaming
Thank you guys,
Dev,
and
clipped it how he was supposed to, so everything's more compressed for you
Great
guys.
weekend, you guys. See you very, very soon.
And yeah, there's not too much more to talk about. But yeah, that's pretty much all that. We'll have a short, if you guys don't want to watch all this in full, we'll have a short dropping soon too, pretty much with all this information, just more compressed even more. And then, or on our TikTok too, so you guys can follow that. And then, yeah, appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.